What's going on YouTube? It's me, it's Watson, here again with another Forza 6 tuning video. Amazing. Right, here we have one of the new cars that was released in the recent, what was it, the Mobile 1 car pack, whatever they call it. And it is the Holden Commadore with many of the letters and numbers in between. I'm not sure what it is. And this car's amazing. If I start looking at it, if you were to tell someone, or ask someone even, when this car was made, they could only say the 1980s. I mean, look at this thing. It is the boxiest thing you've ever seen. It's beautiful because it's so ugly. It is of its time. And it's also a damn good car to tune on this game. I first encountered it actually racing against it, and someone absolutely blitzed me around Watkins Glen in it. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. I've got to give that a try. And it was a good decision because this car's amazing. It's not got a great amount of grip in slow corners. I wouldn't recommend using this car around sort of tracks with the hairpins and stuff like that. But if you can keep it above, I don't know, so keep it in third gear, keep it at a good rate, always keep a good flow to the car. This thing's rapid. It holds the line so well. It's just when you slow down too much and you have to get the power down really quickly out of a corner, it doesn't do so well. So as usual, have a look at the parts. We've got the standard stock engine, absolutely fine. There's no reason to really change it. You can put the 5.7 litre V8 in this. You can also put the 2.6 litre 6. I don't know. I've never really bothered with that engine. I don't know why. I don't really like it. I've tried it in a couple of cars. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe one day I'll have a go with it. But as I say, the 5.7 litre V8's there. Obviously the NASCAR engine is there as well. But you know, there's no point in that for A-Class. But we've got the stock engine in. The drivetrain is the same, it's stock, it's rear wheel drive, but I've put a twin turbo on it, and that's different. I don't usually put turbos on, but I thought with this one I'd give it a go. Why not? I opted for the turbos over the positive displacement supercharger mainly because of weight. The supercharger is a bit heavier. Also, I kind of always use superchargers. Thought I'd give the twin turbos a go. See what happened. It's not too much of a cost in the PI either. I mean, these turbos have been upgraded, which is why there's such a big difference there when I switch between them. But it works quite well. So we've got full aero on, front and rear. Our tyre compound is street tyre compound. As you can see, I've been through them all. I've tried them all with different tunes. And you can probably make one that would be more stable in those kind of tracks that I was talking about, ones with hairpins. I'm thinking of tracks like Hockenheim, tracks where it's kind of stop go in certain points. This, as it is right now, as I say, wouldn't do too great around that. If you stuck better tyres on it, you know, sacrificed a bit of power, perhaps took a bit of the aero off, it would do a lot better. But would it be as good as other cars around that track? I don't know. I like this car in this current spec right now because around certain tracks it's really, really, really competitive. Like I say, Watkins Glen, this car murders around that track. Nürburgring GP circuit, it's okay around that. Again, there's a few two-star corners around it. I assume it's good around something like Silverstone, although there could be a couple of sections where it could be a bit dicey. Anything, like I say, with a good flow to it, a good constant above third gear around most of the corners, then you're going to do well in this car, as I say. Front tyre width, we've got the widest on the front, so we've got 245s, and rear tyre width, and widest again, 285s. Again, not the widest tyres on this car, but I did compensate that with a lot of downforce, as we'll see in a bit. We've got the heaviest wheels, and they are both stock size, not been increased at all. Now, we have a stock clutch. Of course, a race transmission, customised the gearbox, street driveline, and a race diff. The street driveline's there obviously because, you know, just to balance out the PI. We have race brakes, race suspension, race anti-roll bar on the front, and actually on the rear as well, you know, just for a change, not. We've got a full roll cage, and all the weight's been taken out. So getting to the engine, we've got a street intake, straight air filter, a race fuel system, that's new, a stock ignition, race exhaust, race camshafts, race valves, race engine block, race pistons, race twin turbo setup, no intercooler, race oil and cooling, and a street flywheel. So you can see there's quite a lot different to a lot of other tunes. I kind of put the same parts on, mainly because you kind of use the same engines, the 5.7 litre V8, other V8s as well. Also the V6 kind of use the same parts on most of those cars. This one, I've got the fuel system on, I put the camshafts on, we've got a twin turbo. It's a very different kind of tune. It's a lot of fun as well. Right, well, let's have a look at the numbers. Right, so obviously street tyres, 28 psi. As I say, stock tyres and street tyres, you want to be about 28 psi, sometimes 28.5. And for, you know, sport and race tyres, you want to be 27.5 or 27. Gearbox, that's not actually how it's set. Again, I've got to go through all this. It really annoys me about the graph. This is a nice little annoying feature they've added. See, that's the accurate representation of where the graph is right now. Again, it's evened out. Got 6 gears there. Very drivable. Not much I can really say about it really. It's just a good even spread out of the power. It's mostly in the power band. It's just a nice even gear shift. Love it. For camber, we've got minus 2.0 on the front and minus 2.2 on the rear. Toe, we've got 0.1 on the front and minus 0.2 on the rear, and we've got 6.1 caster. Again, this is pretty stock now for most of my tunes. Most of my rear wheel drive tunes anyway, this is pretty stock. The only thing that tends to change much is the toe. The toe, you know, ranges between sort of, I don't know, 0.3 on the front, 0.3 on the front to 0, and then minus 0.3 to 0 on the rear. I mean, I think on a couple of cars I might have minus 0.4, but those are really extreme cases. You don't want to put too much camber on because the car just, you don't know what it's going to do. It becomes very unpredictable. Anti-roll bar set to 21.94 on the front and 19.46 on the rear. Again, this is kind of a stock thing. Someone asked me a while ago about a generalistic way of tuning cars. This kind of setup is a real general way of doing it. If you want to do like a stock, simple base build, then you would set your anti-roll bars, say you set them on 20 on both, then whatever the weight bias is, if you've got more weight bias to the front, you add more stiffness to the front one, and then the opposite for the rear. So if you've got less on the rear, so you take off the rear. That's kind of what I've done with this. It works really well for this, but it doesn't work for every car. You don't want to be doing it on absolutely everything. There are certain cars where it's just not viable, where you need the front to be a bit stiffer, or you need the rear to be a bit loose, or whatever, or whatever. Certain cars need certain things, but as a base setup for a lot of cars, this kind of works, but it's not great on everything. Springs set to the usual calculation, so the weight of the car times 0. Whatever the front weight bias is, divide that by 2 and you will get a number around that number there. And then for the rear, you do the weight of the car again times 0. Whatever the remaining weight on the rear of the car would be, and divide that by 2 and you will get something close to that number just there. And that's as simple as that really. Ride height, we've got usually I go 3 from the bottom, but I think I was playing around with this and I just felt the front needs to be raised a bit more, just to give the front a little bit more balance. It just felt better. I can't really explain why. It's just playing around and it just worked better that way. I don't really know why. Rebound stiffness got 7.6 and 7.2, and bump we've got 5.6 and 5.2. So they're kind of very similar. Just, yeah, I can't really explain why. That's something you have to play with. This has got more weight to the front, so it's a front weight bias car because the engine in the front, all the weight's in the front. So you're 9 times out of 10 going to want more rebound and more bump towards the front, because it just keeps the car better balanced, keeps everything in check, doesn't get you any dodgy surprises like when you put your foot down on a corner, so the rear end will step out or whatever. It just keeps the thing balanced and all ready to go. Downforce, got quite a lot of downforce on this. It's already got a lot of downforce to start with, but because of the tyres, because they're not that great, I had to put a lot more on, and actually it doesn't really affect the speed of the thing at all, because I've already limited. The gearbox has been kind of tuned in a way that it's not getting the most power out of it in terms of top end, but it's getting the most possible acceleration plus power. It's the best ratio between the two, I think, where I've currently got it. So the downforce isn't really slowing it down too much. It's not got a great top end, this. I think it says 178 there. I took it around Nürburgring, the full Nordschleife, and down that straight I got to 176 and it was bouncing off the limiter. So whether it's just, I don't know, whatever, but I couldn't get it above that, so whatever. Maybe that figure there isn't as accurate as it says. Maybe it is. Maybe I was just, I don't know, maybe there was a headwind. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, that's the downforce set there. So we've got 185 at the front and 343 at the rear. Again, that's quite a lot of downforce, like I say. Brake setup, usual story with me. 48% balance, 85% pressure. It's just where I like it. If you don't know, if you haven't got used to my brake pressures and balances yet, the way I do it is I never ever fully depress the brake trigger. I never fully have it down. I kind of use the brake trigger like the throttle. I'm always controlling it. You've got throttle control, you've got to feather the throttle in certain corners, and you've got to balance it out. I'm the same with the brake. I never just, people use ABS, very easy for you because you can just literally just slam it down and you're fine. I don't use ABS. I don't use any assists. So this setup works great for me because, like I say, I just use that like a throttle. I just slow the car down in that gradual way of like, okay, let off, and then just feather it. And again, my diff's pretty set on this on most cars now. 76% acceleration, 81% deceleration. That's all there is to say about it, really. Just keeps the car nice and stable. So please do try this tune. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Like I say, it's really good around Watkins Glen. Any of the tracks around Watkins Glen, any of the circuits there. I haven't really tried it around much else. I have to be honest, like I say, Monza, I had to go with it. It was really good around there. I can't really recommend anything else at the minute though. I haven't tried it too much around many other tracks. I think I may have had to go with it around Spa. It was really good around Spa. Perhaps doesn't quite have the top end, but it is a really, really reliable, surprisingly quick, very stable tune this. So please do enjoy it, try it out, see how you like it. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Please do drop a like and subscribe. Bye bye.